Hey, it's Charmaine. I have 5 groups of seeds that I want to get started this week. And if you live in a similar climate, it might be a good idea for you to get them started also. So let's get going. So last week I did review my lessons learned in my garden journal, and that's when I remembered that there were some of those summer seeds that I wanted to get started earlier than I did last year. So we're going to go through some of those. So first off is eggplant. So this year what I'm going to grow is this, see if it'll focus, is this camo eggplant. I grew it last year, but I didn't get it out in time. I also have a long purple. I don't know if you're going to see that. Also have a long purple, a Listada di Gandia, and just your classic Black Beauty. Now, when you're growing eggplant, you do need to be careful with some of these, like the long purple and the camo eggplant. They do have thorns, so you're gonna want to wear some gloves when you're transplanting them out into the garden, and also when you're harvesting your eggplants. Second, let's start with our peppers. And I'm kind of chuckling because I've got way more peppers here than I originally thought I was going to be planting, but let's go through them anyway. This seed is just some saved Jimmy Nardello seeds. Love Jimmy Nardellos. I think those will forever be a part of my pepper inventory. These mocha swirls. I have these purple beauties. Of course, California Wonder. The infamous Shishito. This is a new seed for me. It is King of the North. Looks pretty good. I'm also going to be growing these Edgevarsky peppers. These habananas, they grew so well, but I did not get them out in enough time for them to actually produce peppers. We are definitely going to correct that this year. This is also a new one for me this year. These Lesia, I think is how you pronounce that. Those are all of the sweet peppers that I want to grow. Let's talk about some of the spicier or hot peppers. Let me preface this with, I'm not really a spicy fan, but I do want to make some of my own seasoning blends. So I am going to grow a good number. Starting on the milder side, I ran out of poblano seeds. Well, actually, that's not true. I had some poblano seeds, but they were just not viable. So I got some new seeds for this year. I'm going to try these cayenne longs. I ran out jalapeno seeds though, so we're going to do this Craig's Grande jalapeno. Again, this brown jalapeno, I got started last year and it did produce, but it wasn't long enough for it to turn colors. So I'm going to try this Sugar Rush Peach. And then this is a free seed. It's supposed to be really spicy, this daytil peppers. So I'm going to go ahead and grow it anyway. And then I haven't quite decided if I'm going to grow this Anaheim College one. I did grow it the first year I had the seed packet. It's a couple years old and they did pretty good. So I might grow those again. We'll see. And then lastly, for those warm season crops is the artichoke. This did outstanding for me last year. So I'm going to grow those again. Artichokes typically are a perennial here in my area. However, we've had so many really, really hard freezes, and I gotta be honest, I did not garden prep or cover any of those sensitive or semi-hardy plants. So I'm pretty sure they're all dead. So I'm going to replant them and just move on. Now, I also want to plant a couple of fun plants. These are just plants that I saw and I thought, why not? So because they're going to be indoors, you can grow them anytime. The first one is this cacti. I thought that would be pretty neat. And then this one is really cool. It's called a sensitive plant. So they look like kind of like ferns, but when you touch the leaves, they like curl in on themselves. So I'm looking forward to that one. All right, so we had eggplant, we had peppers, we had artichokes. All right, fun plants you can plant anytime. Next, let's move into some cool season crops. My broccoli and cabbage and cauliflower harvests were terrible last year. So we're definitely going to start them now and see if we can get them going. Oh, there's one more warm weather crop that we're going to start now too, and that is celery. We're going to do these tall Utah celery. And then we're also going to do this Chinese pink celery. This is a new one for me. All right, so for your cool season crops, we of course are going to start some broccoli. These are all brassicas of one form or another. So we're going to start this Sorrento broccoli. And then I have this green magic broccoli. I've heard really, really good things about it. We're also going to start this golden acre cabbage. You can see that. And this Savoy, let's see, Savoy King cabbage. Broccoli rabe. This broccoli rabe did so well for me last year. So well. I also want to start some more collards because I did not get mine out on time last year. And then last but not least, we're going to start some cauliflower. So I have 4 types of cauliflower. One is this twister cauliflower. It's just a white variety. Another white variety is this amazing cauliflower. And then I have this purple of Sicily that I grew last year, did really well before it got too hot and then it bolted, but I did get a couple harvests from that one. And then this is a new one for me. This is a green Macerata. So now that you know what we're starting, let's go over how we're going to start these seeds and where I'm going to keep them. This is where I keep my seed starting mix. I make my own seed starting mix out of a combination of cocoa coir, worm castings, and vermiculite. And as you can see, it's nice. It's a nice fluffy mix. Perfect. Perfect for starting seeds. Okay. But it is, since I did this a couple of weeks ago, it is also bone dry. So we're going to go ahead and get these moistened. You want to start with pre-moistened seed mix. Just went ahead and poured some water in here. It might not be all the way to the bottom, but by the time we get there, we can always add some more water. We'll need some more seed starting mix anyway, with all the seeds that we're going to start today. If you don't have seed starting mix that you've made yourself, you can always buy it from the store, or you can use potting soil. I would just go ahead and either sieve it or pick through it just to make sure that all of the big clumps are out of it. I have totally done that in the past when I ran out of my own. You don't want to take soil from your garden to put in for your seeds. It's just going to be too harsh and B, you're gonna have creepy crawlies in your house, and that's just not cool. Now, if I kind of wish I had one of those big wooden seed starting benches or whatever, but this is my dining room, so this will do. This little setup works for me. I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of these filled up, and then we'll come back and we'll get to sewing. Okay, so today I am using these 6L trays right here. I'm also going to use some of these where they had little succulents in them. I have some black ones and some red ones. I'm going to put the fun plants in there. I also have these larger 4-cell trays right here. Those, I believe, are 3 or 4 inches deep. And then I also have these smaller ones, which are a couple 2 or 3 inches deep. So, and some of these little ones here. So this is what we're going to use. You can use anything to start season. Matter of fact, here, my indoor garden, I have some microgreens. And so these microgreens are pretty much ready to harvest right now. I can use them in my eggs, salads, etc. And this was a mushroom tray. I did poke holes in it, but because it is cardboard, I really didn't need to. But these types of things work perfect. You can also use egg carriers, yogurt trays, those little plastic trays that they have mushrooms in as well. Anything goes. The world is your oyster, my friends. Okay, so in these little red ones, I'm going to put the fun plants. So I'm going to plant these cacti. I've never planted these before. It just says light age germination, press seeds into the surface, and keep moist. Here's what the seeds look like. I'm only doing 2 containers of them, just because I don't want to overwhelm myself with indoor plants, since I don't technically have a ton of space inside. It says to soak the seeds. As you guys can see, I'm not going to do that. Okay, I put 4 in this one. I put 3 in this one. Here, I'll put 4 in there too. And I'm going to keep that nice and moist for the first couple of days. And that one germinates best at about 70 degrees. So I will put that with my peppers on heat. We're going to label. Now I like to reuse mine. These are new. I had bought 1 pack of new towards the end of the season last year, but I do like to reuse these instead of buying them all the time, because these are not biodegradable. So what I do is I have a ton of washi tape, because I'm also a planner girl. So what I like to do is just take some of my washi tape, and this one does have a design on it, but the design is in white. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put here, that one cap doesn't go on. So we'll just write on here Cactus 117. And that reminds me, I need to do 2 of those. And sensitive plant 17. So we'll go ahead and get those other 2 labeled. Okay, next we're going to put we'll put the broccoli here, we'll put celery, cabbage, and then we'll also do the collards into this one. I'll just go ahead and get those going. I really only want 4 of these at the end of the day, but I do like planting extra to give away. All right, so I'm gonna plant the peppers in each block. I'm gonna put 2 to 3 seeds per block and narrow it down. I will only keep 1 plant of the hots each, and then if I can get 3 good plants of the sweets to do well germinating, then I'll keep 3 of the sweets. Now, because my house is so dry, what I like to do is add a layer of vermiculite to my seeds to help retain moisture. This step is totally optional, but I find that it helps cut down on the number of times that I have to water. Now, I will mist these once a day. Once they germinate, then what I'll do is I will bottom water from then on. Peppers and eggplant like heat to germinate, so I will be turning this heat mat on, but not this one. If I had the domes for these, I would put domes over the top, but I do not. So this is where I'm going to be storing them. Once they germinate, again, I will bottom water at that point using this tray. This tray is a little difficult to bottom water, and I do have another one of these outside I'm going to grab, and several more. But real quick, I want to show you an update on the onion seeds. So I did turn the lights off because the glare was pretty harsh. But there go the onion seeds and the shallots, and the chives are in the back. Okay, so my outro did not film this last time, so this is editing Charmaine, refilming that outro. And you hear my dog's nails that need to be trimmed, walking along the floor. But that is it for the seeds that I'm going to be starting in January. So that's peppers, eggplant, artichokes, and then brassicas, and finally celery. So good to get those things started if you have them and you're in a similar climate to me. So let me know what you're going to be starting this month and what some of your favorite varieties of those are. Thanks so much for watching. Be blessed.